Did you miss me? We are back. That's right. We just got back from Germany. We just got back from bathing in the glory of Europe. So let's ignore Europe entirely as we hop into our first series of the day. And that is a big whoopsie. Yes, I know, an amazing background though. Because what we've got coming up, folks, is going to be Louis MT up against Puppy Paw. That's right. I hyped up Europe and then avoided them altogether. So let's hop into it for some pub action. So Team Elephant's Louis MT is going to be the north side of this one, playing as Order of the Dragon, while Puppy Paw, aka David Kim, in the orange as the Mongols. Will be exciting, actually, considering these are two civs that aren't really considered to be dominant right now. You know, these are two of the, I don't want to say scrape in the bottom of the barrel, but definitely lower performing civs would be an appropriate statement to make. Let me also just update our overlay so we can actually show Puppy Paw's name on it here, just so people don't get confused. And yeah, been a while, actually. God, I remember when I first discovered the David Kim account back in Season 1. I feel like it's not as active these days. The Canadians usually very secretive about their strategies. Every once in a while, they do come in and spoil you. And it's interesting to see how Puppy Paw is going to be moving forward, because he, and I'm not sure if Wham has as well, has got a job now, right? So he's not just a full-time AOE4 pro. Considering how the competition seems to be stacking up with people who are full-time, I'm curious to see if the Canadians can hold on, or if that is a candle that is beginning to dim. And what better way to test yourself than going up against Louis MT, who is currently the reigning champion when it comes to S-tier tournaments in Age of Empires 4, with an epic monument in the middle of that town center, by the way. Is that from the Sultan's Ascent campaign? I'm trying to figure out what that one's from. I mean, considering the blade, it's definitely got to be Sultan's Ascent related, right? A scimitar or a falchion. I think it's a scimitar. Opening wise, how are we doing on sheep? Not great, I want to say. Yeah, look at that. Orange, 17 sheep already. Meanwhile, Louis MT only now cracking past the 10 mark. He will collect some more here. But overall, a dominant advantage here for Puppy Paw to squeeze with. And squeeze he will. We have got the racks opening. Spearman already on the way across. Minework Palace, the reaction from Louis MT. Not too unexpected here. Like, actually, weirdly enough, I think the funnier part is I feel like I'm seeing more HRE players shifting into Minework than I am seeing Order of the Dragon do Minework these days, which is pretty funky. Oh, that's a Kong Season 9 trophy? Oh, dude, that's a pretty dope one. Marlene Outpost is best monument. I mean, I'm pretty sure a Saharan Trade Network beats it. Because if you're childly enough to actually build that landmark, you're just a winner. What is the worst landmark in Age of Empires 4 right now? I'm trying to think off the top of my head, what one sucks more than anything else? It's probably going to be an Abbasid Wing, isn't it? Kremlin? You think Kremlin sucks worse than anything else in the game, Mahodo? Including you now. I'm kidding. I don't know about Kremlin being the worst. It's definitely very, very low on the ladder now, for sure. I feel like Shushi's alternate landmark still wins. Feudal landmarks, right? So, nice attempt the shivs out. Looks like Louis MT, calm and contained, though. Like, it was kind of ambitious that Puppy Paw even tried this, considering it's against Mongols. Against Order of the Dragon, rather. Because, like, with OOTD, it takes 15 more damage, which is quite a lot. That's 3 extra hits for a Spearman, at least. Not to mention the shiv damage is higher on the Order of the Dragon villages. But he did at least force Louis MT to overreact onto the gold. Like, putting 5 on gold this early for Order of the Dragon is quite heavy-handed. Shinobi landmark worse? I don't think so. I actually think the Shinobi landmark's going to kind of like bounce back a bit now, with the Dark Age racks opening being crippled after the deer shoving nerf. Shinobi now have a bit more credence into the build order, so wouldn't be surprised to see that actually return a little. All in all, though, 15 sheep at the end of the run here, compared to the 17, means that Louis MT did clean up in the tail end of the scouting. And he's going to look to be cleaning up more than just the sheep from the map. We've actually got pro scouts coming in from the Chinese kid. Deerstone, of course, going to be late due to that Spearman commitment. I wonder, what's Puppy Paw's plan here? You know, he could have went trade. That would have been an option Funny that someone mentioned Silver Tree, but I guess against the Horseman potential that All the Dragon can bring out, that doesn't feel very safe. So he didn't opt for it. Oh, yeah. Like, I can't believe it. My brain actually forgot the alternate for the sushi, the name of it. I was like, wait a second. I should know this. I can't remember this. It's the Zhang Academy? Zhang something Academy. Oh my god, my brain. I usually remember everything in AOE4. Jiangnan Tower. Sorry. Yeah, Jiangnan Tower. So sucky. Even someone who's casted thousands of hours and remembers all the most redundant things cannot remember the name of it. I tip my hat. Anyway, Archery is going to be coming in. This makes sense. He saw Spearman already, but it's going to get counterplayed by the Keshik opening. The cool thing, at least, is that the Gilded Archers attack at the damage of a Lombo, so you penetrate quite well into the Mongol heavy cav. Mongols need some bust at their tower? I just think they need some versatility when it comes to how they defend. Maybe. Like, I kind of like the idea of them being able to create really crude walls that are pretty sucky, but just like kind of like barricades, essentially. White Stupa is a pretty bad landmark, but that's mainly because Karganet is so good, not because it's so bad itself, I'd say. The thing you have to realize about White Stupa is in the hyper late game, it's kind of ridiculous. It's infinite stone when you're spamming cannons. Like, that's actually pretty worth. The problem is, like, most games aren't going that late enough for it to make sense for Mongols. Most Mongols are going to be rushing Imperial Age by about, like, 20 minutes. Not in this game, though. For now, it seems Puppy Paw is committing with conviction, which makes sense. Does he know about the Pro Scouts play? He's playing for the boar himself, and I think he is not suspicious enough about this. No, he will discover the Pro Scouts because it's in the corner, but Puppy Paw never scouted that deer, so he had no idea. Just to confirm, he had no idea about the deer. Oh dear. I think he just got a glimpse of it now, so we'll be able to intercept some additional deer gatherers. And it's awkward because Louis MT is playing a static comp. He doesn't have the ability to mobilize quickly. But that's the trade-off, right? Like, for a lot of civs, it's very hard to do Pro Scouts and then just spam straight into cavalry, or at least to do so in a threatening way. It's even worse for Louis MT on this civ, because remember, he's playing a civ that does not have a very efficient way of getting into even its infantry. Everything's expensive, so, like, you kind of have to do it this way. Gilded Archers are going to be in a little bit of trouble, but nice defense from the Spearman. You really can't afford to get touched here. What Puppy Paw's trying to do here is definitely not easy. He's getting some good hits in, though. And credit to him, if he uses the scouts in between, he can sustain himself quite reliably. Remember, he just wants something to attack so he can heal. I want to be a little bit careful with the Khan. That could have easily been a loss. Luckily for him, Louis MT was not paying attention to that, though. Yeah, reminder, these Spearmen, they, was it, free hit you? 52 damage. So, yeah. I think you survive with, like, 2 HP. Because it's 52 minus 3, so you're minus 9 overall, but you're getting hit for 156. Oh, no, you just die, right? Yeah. You just flop dead. That's so brutal as well. Compared to a knight that I believe is 4 hits. Maybe 5. How many stables has Puppy Paw got? He's got 1 stables with the double production. For Louis MT, he also went for the single stables, but remember, why his numbers looked really quick is because he didn't go Horseman at all. Nice bait on the dive there. Did get a kill. Mongols need better cavalry? I'm sorry, what? Everyone's complaining about Magadai and you're saying they need better cavalry? Have you tried downloading more Magadai.com? Six. That'd be a little bit of a nuisance here. Okay, so did Louis actually get enough home? It doesn't feel that great on the quantity. In fact, he might be running dry soon. Like, what? Is he on sheep right now? Yeah, I don't think he has much in the way of deer. So really for Louis, and he needs to just spread a little bit wider because he's getting intercepted hard on the west side. These health bars are not looking pretty, though, for Puppy Paw. He is now committing to archers, which has been the missing ingredient. Yeah, if he can rush this count up with the stone, The double gen especially, it should allow him to overwhelm the Gilded Spearman. No doubt about it, he has to work fast. I mean, Louis MT, the thing about playing Pro Scouts on Rocky River is you get a lot of diverse options in the center of the map. It's a wide spread. And Puppy Paw, the way he's cross-rotating around the back, doesn't put him in a position to always intercept, but what he is doing is putting himself in a position to be ready for what's next. We've got a target point onto Castle Age here, but it is being mirrored. Louis MT will not fall behind so easily. A great read. Just didn't recommit into additional units after he saw that Puppy Paw wasn't diversifying. Understood that at that point, just a handful of spears is good enough here. And the Kashyyyks. They're playing a dangerous game. At 5 spears, it is quite easy to kind of just catch 1 off guard, 2 off guard. And remember, for Puppy Paw, it's all about, like, how do I scale this comp? How do I get it to the next stage? Step readout is going to be the choice. So it's looking more and more likely that we're going to be seeing a fastish imp game here. The primary concern of Puppy Paw upon arrival in Age Up, though, should be relics. Remember, he's against Order of the Dragon. They've built a decent number of troops. So in theory, at this stage, Louis MT wouldn't be too greedy to go Regnants. Yeah, Regnants that just has so much immense value for Order of the Dragon, considering how expensive all their units are. And there you go, folks. 10 pulled across. Regnants now on the way. I wish Aegis TV had a tourney every month. That's a shame that they don't. But you know what? I hear there's someone that like has a tournament every week, and that's about to start back up. So maybe, just maybe, you don't need it. Maybe we've already got you covered. Just a 4. Okay, so Tech Up's coming in. Could Puppy Paw dive this? No, he hasn't prepped Kashyyyks at all. You don't dive this without Castle Age Kashyyyks, and even then, it's going to be expensive, right? Like, the only reason I think you dive it is if you're planning to go for a Monk Rush yourself. Monk Rush that is starting to come in. So Pretent has been dropped. We should get the first one queued up soon. Holding on to a lot of food still, actually, which is kind of surprising. Yep, that is actually my mum. There you go. Another reason to watch streams live. You can communicate with my mum. I chose the word communicate very specifically over chat to my mum because that's just one word away from chat. Anyway, Veteran Siva Kashyyyks is in. They're looking nice and spangly. But at this stage, the opportunity has gone, right? Like, if you catch him on the tech up and you delay that, it's worth losing Kashyyyks. Now, not so much. It means Louis can hard counter these. We've already got the crossbows and the Gilded Knights being queued up. First Monk is on the way, and he is going to take the easy, low-hanging fruit here. And I think Puppy Paw, where's he going? Okay, so he's going to take one of the neutral relics first, which totally makes sense considering his map control. Big focus for Louis. Like, you're looking to try and get free relics here, obviously. Like, it's the classic, but in this type of game, you know, with what you're up against, the potential from Burgrave spamming spears was pretty valuable. So you did sacrifice a lot going for this Regnants play. Puppy Paw now actually scaling into crossbows. What kind of surprises me about this is why not just take Imperial Age? You know, when I think about Mongols and matchups where they should, in theory, be able to just get away with it, this feels like one of them. Unless you're worried about men-at-arms spam, but you've already addressed that by building so many Kashyyyks. I don't think Louis would have been likely to open with men-at-arms. You know, Gilded Knights are a little bit concerning, so I can kind of see what's coming from there, but with enough Knights, you can just kind of overwhelm and batter them down. And that is a weirdly suspicious thing for someone who's, like, completely new to the channel to just ask about. Almost as if they are advertising for it themselves. Yeah, I wouldn't trust that, folks. In fact, let me get rid of that. Okay. So, focusing back on the action, though. How are we looking on both sides? I mean, crossbow count is getting pretty strong, so Puppy Paw probably going for like an all-in timing. And Puppy Paw, by the way, is a lying piece of... Hey, this guy, he sits there, he's like, oh, crossbow is such bad unit, why build? Yeah, why build, Puppy Paw? Huh? Why build? 16 of them already. This guy's also sus, because I'm pretty sure I just timed him out and nothing happened. There we go. No soliciting. Thank you, how to play. He knows. He knows how to chat. A little tip for anyone ever watching. If you ever find yourself in a position where you're going to go into someone else's channel and advertise your crap, think again. That's why most people have the decency to ask if they can even post a link. You know, unless, of course, you're the Twitch CEO, in which case I guess you just go and do it. If you guys have not seen that, Google it. I still can't believe that. Okay, so walls are going up. We have got Walui MT online. Not quite quick enough to close the gap, though. And he's been producing into just knights. Yeah, army also out of the base right now. So Puppy Paw, he doesn't know. Yeah, no, he doesn't see deep enough. So he doesn't realize, actually, there's nothing behind this. That's crazy. I mean, that was an open goal waiting to be shot, right? If only he'd known, he would have been able to kind of raid towards the tree lines. He had Keshik's wing on the west side as well, so could have kind of just smashed him from both sides. Maybe he just felt it wasn't worth the risk of going in, right? The downside of like how easily you could have lost everything. Now, we do have the monastic shrines coming through, so we're going to start to see the pasture production rates ramping up. And after he's seen the walls, like at this stage, as Puppy Paw, you've got to be thinking about Imperial Age, right? You've at least mitigated some of the relic damage. It's going to be a 3-2 split. And with Step Readout, I think you're in a decent position gold-wise against the Order of the Dragon. So, you know, I don't think he necessarily has too much to fear about going Fort Phage. Louis MT could mirror. Instead, he's going to look to attack. Oh, I like this move as well. Think about the expectations from Puppy Paw after that dive, after the wall in. He's like, okay, you know, it's not a bad idea for OTD to just go Imperial Age, right? They get their hands on Palace of Swabia, they print their villages, they feel pretty good. This might catch him a bit off guard. Now, he is propping a few more spearmen. Gonna want them as well, considering just how ridiculously tanky these Gilded Knights are. What's the most lopsided Civ v Civ matchup in the game right now? That's a good question. What would be the most lopsided one? I'm actually trying to think off the top of my head. Maybe, like, I don't know. I feel like Lancaster versus Mongols has to be pretty bad, right? In my brain. Actually, no. You can rush them early. That's fine. You have to rush them early, though. I would say... Malian versus Japanese? No, I don't think that one's, like, too bad for Japan anymore. It used to be a lot worse. H3 English? H3 English is a good one. English 2TC meta, not so great anymore. HRE just stomp over you with, like, marching archers. There's probably more lopsided ones than that for HRE, though. I'm just trying to think of them off the top of my head. Roost Mongols, actually. Roost Mongols feels really, really rough. Like, you do nothing. Mongols heavily relies in a lot of matchups on either, like, you're either fishing opening or you're going for a spear rush, but you can't do that against Roost at all. It doesn't work because they don't have anything you can harass, right? So, yeah, that's probably, like, one of the more lopsided ones for sure. Whether it's the most lopsided, I'm not sure. Ottoman versus Japan is still bad for Japanese. It's just a little bit less feels bad man than it did before. But, like, I'd say probably Rus versus Mongols is more lopsided than Otto Japan. But Otto Japan is definitely, like, top 4. French versus Iabids is less so because there's actually a counterplay for French that involves going into Imperial Age. It's meant to be a pretty rough matchup if you play your standard French build. But if you diversify into something a bit more greedy or a little bit more patient, like, they actually have an interesting bounce back off the back of primarily Arbitraire. It's definitely not easy to reach, but yeah, it's feasible. Well, looks like we are getting Imperial Age. It was a good time to actually kind of theorycraft this stuff because we are hunkering down while Louis MT has come for a sequel. Yeah, we should have seen this coming, right? Karganet on the way up from Poppy Pool, just the expected. We talked about it around 20 minutes. Practically every Mongol player is going to be an Imperial these days. And it holds true still. Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, based on tournament performances in particular, if we looked at, like, the most recent one, I'm curious, actually. Let's have a look and see. If we look at the last tournament, last major tournament, which was EGC Masters, and we look at statistics with matchups. Oh, I don't think they have matchups here. That kind of sucks. You know what? Another one is Delhi English has always been incredibly rough. Anyway, let's focus on what's happening here because it looks like Louis MT is begrudgingly looking to dive. And oh, guys, this doesn't feel good. He needs to burn down the outpost ASAP or just back away because these sprue emplacements are just going to kill him off gradually. Instead, it's going to be the raw A-click through. He looks to massacre the army instead before upgrades can kick in. And it should be a good timing as well, actually. The elite techs aren't there yet, but the Nest of Bees is going to be there. The perfect roll for Puppy Paw to get here. And it's going to be back-to-back rolls of the counterplay to Louis MT's second line. Yeah, and the melee is dying too fast here. They won't be able to counterplay into the siege. Louis MT learned the lesson that many before him have with these Mongol fast imp builds. If outposts are in your way, come back another day. Absolutely brutal. I mean, I guess for Louis, maybe he didn't care about the idea of throwing away the army if he can get some damage done, but damage was most definitely not done here. He killed no villagers. He completely lost when it came to army. He's got 3 sacred sites locked in. He did buy time for the walls to complete, sure. Walls that, in theory, shouldn't last too long, mind you. I mean, he did clear the melee, so maybe that was the thought process. And he's starting to stockpile resources himself. He's got additional farms coming in now, so should be ready to go into Imperial Age in the next, like, 40, 50 seconds, I'd say. My concern is, you know, if you're going past the Swabia, you don't really have a standing army to now protect you. Good news, at least, if it's primarily crossbows, you have got Gilded Archers with scale armor. So you mitigate a lot of their damage, even when they're elited up like this. Louis Games looks like he plays to test things out rather than just to win. And yet he wins. I mean, the other player that's been like that, there's been... CSO very much like that at times. And there's another player that we don't have a Western name for. I can't remember what we translated his name as the other day. It was like maybe Sparrow or Swift or something. He also has a very unique approach in a lot of his matchups. Well, nothing unique about this. Palace of Swabia is going to be on the way, the expected. And hand cannon is now being queued up. So Puppy Paw just going straight into the best late game comp. He has also got the Magadai pump coming, which is going to give him access to the Khan Hunters, which give additional range to those hand cannoneers, making them a pretty fierce fighting force. Yeah, overall, I quite like Puppy Paw's position as long as he sticks it to him now. Like, Louis is making the right call going for Swabia. With the imp complete, he knows it's Karganet, so this is like a 25 villager value type play in terms of what it produces. So he needs to try and fix that quickly on his side. You know, he already lost the relic race, it's 3-2. His upsides is the farm count, but this is the nice thing about the monastic shrines, right? Like, this is a huge boon, and actually, you know, we were talking earlier about how the white stupa feels underwhelming. Well, this is probably something that's going to have to change for it. Like, the fact that monastic shrines now comes in so early, I think white stupa lost one of his big value plays, which was to buff up a bunch of your pastures. That value play no longer exists. We have got the siege beginning. Puppy Paw looking to knock at the door. Louis MT is going budgeted defense. And by like this, you know, it's going to be just the elite Gilded Archers for now, with Horsemen to back up. So Horsemen counterplay into the Nest of Bees. The Gilded Spears, Gilded Archers rather will clear the elite Spearmen. And then the Gilded Archers also trade out really well against crossbows. So really smart overall composition here. Not to mention the fact that, you know, they already have additional range on those archers, and they benefit immensely from the silk bowstrings. Allows them to go up to 7 power range, same as the longbow. Last time Puppy Paw came this deep, he freaked out and walked away. Can't have that happen again. Knock on the door. Checking to see if anyone's home. Louis MT reveals the horseman. Does not commit. triple nest of bees now. Farmlands can start to get shut down. Now, keep in mind that Louis MT has got good food income, but that's temporary due to the boar and due to the extra deer that he was gathering before. So you're going to notice that rate start to go down a bit. I have to wonder, is Puppy Paws playing this too slowly? I mean, he has got hand cannons in waiting. Only adding 3 into the comp so far, but overall he has over 10, so the rest need to arrive. He is going to reset. Yeah, leaves the base. Maybe a little bit unusual here. I mean, you saw your opponents going horseman, and you gave him time to now react. Even deletes the wall to snipe a few of the hand cannons. Pretty bold. But a really cool idea, actually, considering that this doesn't lead directly into his base. And we do also now have a split up. So Puppy Paw, he's trying to block gold gathering, but he needs to get all the way over to this corner to achieve that goal. He's going to be seen running that way. I like that Louis is just doing this. He's cutting reinforcements because right now, direct fight is not a win for him. No, so instead, just snipe out those hand cannons, right? With the horsemen easily done. I mean, you hit them for 42 damage per strike. Army is marching around the back, but I'm afraid that's not going to be good enough. Did Puppy Paw just use Select All Army? He had a really good block here on the east side and the west, but now he's abandoned it. So although you block gold for your opponent, he has access elsewhere. Yeah, that's not really the tick of the box you're looking for here. Then again, I think maybe Puppy Paw's thought process is that he saw its horsemen plus gilded archers and said, okay, blocking gold doesn't really do anything because you're not using gold. But I feel like that's a little bit of a lie, right? Like, yes, you could get there gradually with passive gold, but these imp techs, they're not cheap. So having that access was critical. Try to get the outpost up is going to fail. Nest of Bees starting to move in. A tree line. Puppy Paw doesn't know yet. He's going to start to get a glimpse of it. If he attacks ground in that area, yeah, and it will be Louis shifting further north. We siege into the gates. Horsemen ready to charge forward here. Puppy Paw's army not really looking as threatening as it once did, actually. Do we have the extra range? I believe we do. Yes, he's up to 5 tile range on the hand cannoneers. Nest of Bees are going to extend in once again. And Louis is smuggling that economy out to the flanks. We have got interception on the reinforcement, so it looks like he's rotating for a backstab here. Yeah, this is kind of unhinged, actually. I can't believe he's doing that. And Puppy Paw, I mean, in theory, he just saw it. He's deep in the base. Perfect position here to just start rushing down landmarks. Gets the torches out for exactly that. Louis thought about pulling the villagers to try and deal with the siege. Unable to do so. E-repairs is going to be used. Past the Swabi. He may have actually waited too late there, but now Rohirrim Riders come in. The horsemen from behind, and the spearmen are overextended. Villagers now charging forward as well. At this point, your front lining of hand cannoneers. It's a backstab, a forward stab, a side stab, and all. Louis MT converges from all directions. And the Nest of Bees, they just don't really exist anymore. He's got one left to try and clear out the archers. It's not going to work. The trap has been laid, set, and snapped close on Puppy Paw's face. What a sick maneuver there. The patience from Louis MT. The fact that he had the early heads up, and yet Puppy Paw, either because he didn't notice or because he felt stuck, didn't even try to get out of the way of the running train. Louis MT now ready to chugga choo-choo across that map. No doubts is probably going to be just marching straight for the enemy base, and I mean, why not in this type of position? A phenomenal engagement out of Louis MT. Puts him in control of the battlefield now. Unbelievable. Puppy Paw back to the drawing board in terms of rebuilding the force. It's still going to be hand cannoneers to try and lead the way. He's got quite some way to go. And crazy as well. I mean, I'm trying to think if there was a way in which he could have made that work if he maybe, for example, had more siege, like built a few rams. But it's so tricky, especially when you're up against Order of the Dragon or HRE with the E-repairs. And the bombards, what? I mean, he's lucky it wasn't both of them there. These horsemen so absurdly tanky. And by the way, this is pre-full tech. He still doesn't have biology. He's now only getting silk bowstrings. There's still a lot of ceiling left in this game for Louis MT. Men at Arms switch now coming through for Puppy Pool. So what? Men at Arms plus hand cannoneers? I mean, it's not a bad comp to have here, really. Against Horsemen plus Gilded Archers. Puppy seems to be in a winning position at some point, and then the game doesn't always strike when it's best. Feels like that's... I mean, I think Puppy Paul wins a lot of his games, right? Like, there's definitely an element where the Canadians, I think, are more comfortable in the mid-game. That's been the case for a long time. They've been evolving a little bit more recently to try and be a bit more aggressive. But you're also talking about one of the best defensive players in Age of Empires 4. And anyone who disagrees with that has not watched enough Louis MT games. Just because you see him attack a lot doesn't mean he doesn't defend well. Louis MT makes it incredibly difficult to end a game. I mean, just look at the map right now. At what point are you just spitting in the face of Mongols not being able to war with this? Couple's food eco bad? Not really. It's kind of okay for what he's doing, because he's primarily leaning on hand cannoneers. That's a 50-50 cost between food and gold. So gold is just as important. The concern there, though, of course, is that if gold is so important and you're rushing it down like this, it's a limited resource that's going to just extract to 0 eventually. So that's something he needs to kind of calculate for and figure out, will I need trade and when's a good time to go for it? And that is a tech I feel like I very rarely see truly matter. And is very expensive to justify in Imperial Age, guys. That is the Warhorses tech, designed for Gilded Knights to take less damage while charging. Yes, a very, very rare sight. Other than Louis. I feel like Louis is the only person I reliably see build into this technology. There's multiple reasons. 25% damage reduct on a charge sounds pretty good, but it's kind of situational. The other thing is building Gilded Knights in mass in Imperial. I hope that you are ready and willing to rob your beautiful, wonderful, great Nan of all of her life savings to afford that. Because a Gilded Knight, remember, is 200 gold. You burn through your resources so quickly with this strategy. That's why I'm kind of surprised he's leaning into it. I mean, dare I say both players will go trade? If we go deep enough, Louis MT is now ready to go Imperial again. Picked the wrong Civ, though. That's not an option here. Instead, he's going to throw all that gold elsewhere. We've got adjustable crossbars now on the way, plus the siege work. So Louis MT is going for a full siege switch. I wonder if Puppy Paw is aware as well. I mean, he hasn't got any information on the enemy side of the map right now. He hasn't seen a switch. He still sees archers plus horsemen. Like, I'd be getting a little bit suspicious. You could argue, oh, well, it worked last time. He broke me with it, so maybe he doesn't feel like he needs to switch. But, you know, then again, if he's not switching, what is Louis doing with the time, right? It's one thing to build up reserves, but with how well he's trading his type of comp, you'd assume he always has reserves. The only other thing would be that he's waiting for something. I don't know if you really want Hui Hui battles here, guys. I mean, do you ever really want Hui Hui battles? I mean, I guess against a Red Palace, maybe. Ugh, Gilded Archers here as well. That pathing horrible. It's going to start spamming up outposts to hold the area, but Mangonels have already been queued up, folks, so they'll work as a decent defense against that. The Gilded Archers, the start step away. High base damage also. And a litany of Spearmen, Palace Guard, and Men-at-Arms in there. He finally realized the mistake. Does pull the spears away. He's giving away way too many kills for free there. And Louis just quick on the micro to get back behind those walls. Yeah, and you can see the paranoia. He's already checking around the backside to see if there's any sort of trade attempt happening. Smart lad. Like, at this stage, we're kind of reaching the phase where it makes sense. What doesn't make sense is the amount of gold. What the f... If these two came together, they could solve world debt. Are you kidding me? 13 Gilded Knights queued up with 5,000 gold in reserve. And 11,500 gold in reserve for Puppy Paw. Unbelievable. I mean, someone's going to have to start charging him big inflation rates on this. This is ridiculous. He's still gathering more, by the way, folks. He's going vein to vein and hoping it won't be in vain. He's hoping that this game will go deep enough that Lou will run out of gold and he'll win because of this. Well, hand cannons have stepped up, but that positioning is questionable. I don't think Louis realizes yet, but I mean, he kind of should. He sees the enemy down here. This would be a perfect moment to dive into the hand cannoneers. Instead, he's going to tickle them with the mangonels. And the horsemen are instead going to go after the economy? Yeah, definitely a little bit weird the way that Louis is playing this. Because that felt like a golden opportunity to just wipe out the hand cannoneers. Maybe he just has too much respect for the 30 HC count. Feels like, oh yeah, I could kill him, but I'd lose way too much. Instead, the Gilded Knights shuffling around the back are going to go hunting towards the villages. But the amount of outposts that Puppy Paw has built in this game is, quite frankly, ludicrous. We're talking about, yeah, 24 outposts currently on the map for the Mongols. Because, you know, Mongols are such a bad civ, even against OOTD, they need extra military firepower outside of population. Build the outposts. And second wave's coming through, by the way. Look at the knight count. We're up to 16 now. These guys are scary. Look at the health. 575. He's got the blessing for the extra armor, the extra damage. A sword strike from these guys hits for 52. 52! Which is the average age of the Age of Empires community. But the 50, it's ridiculous. No, seriously, guys. Beastie is 69. Marine Lord is 39. And Dumu is 108. And then the Canadian brothers, well, I mean, between them, they are 47 each. You just can't really tell. And then Louis MT. I mean, Louis MT is like the biggest like debate of them all. You know, Louis MT actually is so old that he learned how to use knights and archers himself growing up as a child. Kilyadi, bless him, we love him, but actually he passed away about like 60 years ago. It's just, he's an AI that's been playing for all these years. You guys remember Equilibrium, that film with the gun Kung Fu? Where like you thought you had that glorious leader and it's someone else? That's what's happening there. Anyway, we've got Clash in the center here. Hand cannoneers. I mean, the mangoes are the big problem here, so he needs to dive onto them fast. Notice how Louis just keeps trying to cycle charge these knights so that he gets more health, more effective HP, because you're taking less damage. Apparently, this is enough to scare Puppy Paw off. Yeah, he backs away. Yeah, I'm a bit surprised. I thought he'd actually go for the dive, but a lot of respect being shown to the castle. And probably the additional mangoes shown up, so it was a good call, because Louis MT was just 15 seconds away from turning 2 mangoes into 5. And we got 2 TC on 2 TC for very different reasons here. For Puppy Paw, it's more about extra economy. For Louis, it's about E-repairs. And this is cheeky as well. Not only has he blocked out the potential for trade, he's also taking away wood. And if you guys remember, Rocky River is the type of game that regularly becomes about wood to decide the outcome. We'll begin knocking, but I mean, it's not really enough to truly threaten here, right? Like, he could also just use E-repairs to fix up all the damage done anyway. Knights are going to be circling in. Reminder that these guys will always 2-hit kill into textiles, guaranteed. They almost 1-hit kill. They hit for 60 damage. Pretty insane. If they have the damage buff from the Prelate, you can see it's up to 69. A pretty nice number. Looks so impossible for Louis. Now, remember, guys, the way you win a game of Age of Empires 4 is by killing your opponent, not by getting enough gold that you drive the developers to change the match history to a win. So with that in mind, it looks a bit grim on the gold, but I would not write him off just yet. Yeah, like comp-wise, when they've actually fought properly, he's held out. And the mango switch is a smart one. Then again, wait, what? Did he really go in for another fight? And Louis lost a lot of the mangoes that time, actually. Apologies, we didn't catch that one. Apparently, Puppy Paw saw the mango losses and went, well, that's good enough. And went for even more hand cannons. Okay. There is a risk that Puppy Paw is overbuilding his backline and not respecting the need for a front line here. And that's Artley's going to try to tickle away at this, but not an ideal one for them to ever truly fight on. Very expensive losses if they go down. Has forced a ridiculous reaction, though. Oh, my God. I mean, we've got, like, what, 15? Yeah, 12. And the reaction is over 50 military chasing this. A lot of space being gained. And I think the bad news was just obtained by Poppy Paw. He sees the wood cappers here. He's like, what are you doing over here? This is my territory. Louis like, dude, if you're going to win on gold, at least let me win on wood. Not that he's really ever winning on wood. He's not even building reserves. We've got a TC now coming up behind, so realizing the need for E-repairs. And yeah, Poppy Paw just realized the scamathon that's been happening over here. There's no gold, no bueno. No find to be had. I've still got Knights being annoying, but so far, good reactions. However, Louis MT sees this as an opportunity. Seizes the center of the map. Yeah, okay, that's really important because it means the Gilded Knights now can actually stay and fight. They can win this fight, potentially. All comes down to positioning, and the hand cannon is heading forward for not a first, rather not a good way of doing it. Wait, what? What? Step read out, hello? Wait, what? I guess he's done with this, folks. I mean, there is no more gold on the map, and I'm sure losing a landmark won't cost you later on. Okay, he's gonna pull it back now. I mean, the actual fact that it just walked all the way underneath that castle and survived is a little bit silly. You see how frustrating this is for Poppy Paw, though, and you see the issue of Mongols in late game. You know, by all right and logic, he should be able to just commit down the center and slowly brute force his way through off of mass hand cannons. Instead, every time he thinks about doing it, Louis MT is pulling him left and right. It's just that this is the biggest issue he has. Even with Yam, he just doesn't seem to be capable of being in the right position at the right time. That was almost the completely wrong position as the Mangoes were getting ready to just unload the second shot, second volley there. Mongol Horsemen are going to try to dive in, but not enough of them. And this is the issue we were concerned about, right? Is that he had too many hand cannoneers. It's looking like the case. At least got men-at-arms switched out of now, so Horsemen can be on the way. Golden Knight's a little bit too ambitious in the duties on the front line there. I think if Poppy Paw wants to win this, it really just needs to start being a push. It's so difficult, though, because of the way Louis MT's leveraged Mangonels into choke point fights, but, like, now with the Horsemen, what's to stop you from going into the enemy base? And, oh my god, you're going to need to. You've got to be kidding me. Guys, he's up to 19 traders. Louis MT is the first one to trade, despite it being against Mongols. I mean, benefits of having walls, right? Like, imagine if Poppy Paw actually had access to them. We probably would have seen some walls by now. Just to give him that sustainability. Because remember, you know, what, 3 minutes ago, I want to say? We saw Poppy Paw with over 12,000 gold. Now he's sitting at 8.5k. It's declining. I want Poppy to win, but was to lose. Oh no. Backstab. Mangoes. Oh, gonna whiff entirely. What? That was sick, actually. Poppy Paw. He baited him to stay around to attack and then dodged it perfectly. Ignore those ones. But for the most, considering triple Mangonel, it should have been a lot more losses there. But wait, where's Poppy Paw's army? Oh, no, not again. No, he's going to lose this fight. Despite taking out the Mangoes, he won't be able to win against the remaining army here because of the Raiders again. I feel like I'm watching this game, and Louis should have been dead like several times after like the direct engagement type logic, but then it doesn't happen. It never is able to happen because of the way that Louis just keeps raiding on the map. Unbelievable. Now, mixed retinue of Horsemen plus the Knights, trying to budget himself because the gold mass doesn't last forever. Mangoes are on a coffee break. They'll be back and ready to roll soon. How many outposts are we up to now? Just 22. We've actually gone down in count compared to about 10 minutes ago. courtesy of the fact they're actually getting deleted by the siege. Speaking of siege, dive in from Horseman. Really good hit here. Yeah, I feel like Louis not doing a very good job of protecting siege. It's not easy, but like considering the choke points you're fighting around with the outposts and the sacred sites, in theory it should be very hard for 8 to 10 horsemen to get in and get those many kills. Like, yeah, look, it just keeps happening. He's not reacting with anything in time. Yeah, I mean, at this stage, you might as well just start pulling back the archers to try and do so. We do have a hand cannoneer switch now coming in, but reminder, you know, you haven't got reliable infinite gold yet. I mean, scrap that. He's up to 34? Ridiculous. Okay, guys, remember that part we said about drain game, late game, you know, how with 12,000 plus gold, how could he possibly ever lose? I think Puppy Paw might be losing. Yo, but we're winning big. My boy sort of with the raid. Thank you very much, my friend. I hope you had a good stream. Welcome one and all to an absolute bloodbath as we are 45 minutes into this Mongol Order of the Dragon game. An Order of the Dragon game that looked like it was thrown away when Louis MT tried to dive into a Mongol base upon arrival on Imp. Looked like it was going to cost him the game until Puppy Paw caught off guard, overextended, fell victim to one of the best full surrounds I've seen all year in Age of Empires 4. Now we're here. Deep state of the game. A man who once had 13k built up in gold reserves down to 3.5k. He is trying to go trade, but he has still not addressed this castle. Yeah, whether it's due to raids or castle drops, the issue continues to be the fact that Puppy Paw needs to be more places than he's ever capable of. Flash in the center is not looking friendly for him. Gilded Archers are going to start moving in to snipe out the hand cannoneers. And the Gilded Knights can also just charge in next, so he needs to get the hell out of here. Horsemen also following this up, and Puppy Paw lacking a front line, but also starting to lack a back. Yeah, down to just 24 hand cannoneers. Remember, this guy had 60 hand cannoneers several minutes ago. It just all seems to be unraveling before his eyes, and what the hell? Wait, what? He keep drops the tree line right next to Puppy Paw's base. You've got to be kidding me. E-repairs coming in clutch here, guaranteeing that the bombard can't bring it down quick enough. And forcing that back rotation, Louis MT tosses away a bundle of villagers to try and get the siege kills. The game is still not over. I mean, Castle's also not going down. Between the E-repairs from the town center and the stone repair actively, this is going to delay Puppy Paw for quite a bit. Now, he does have good reserves of wood, and he has additional sources. But in the end, for Louis, this is all about how do I just win on the wood game. Need to be the biggest woodpecker on the map to win the game. Oh, absolute entertainment between these two. Puppy Paw will be able to make quick work of that castle drop. Louis MT probably needed a breather, actually. You can see he looks a little bit exhausted on the melee count. Hand cannoneers as well. But the thing is, Puppy Paw still has a decent chunk of HE left. The issue is Puppy Paw doesn't have the infinite runway. He's trying to set up trade. He's currently 0 into it. But once he's several into it, he's going to discover that this trade post is not safe. No, meanwhile, Louis has been exploited to the extreme. 35 traders trading at 75 gold each way. How does he build up this much gold in reserve and now find himself in a position where he's going to lose because of gold? Right? Because unless he can actually open up a path towards that trade post ASAP, it's exactly what's going to happen. And all of a sudden, Gilded Hand Cannoneers that normally would be off the table are on the table. Remember, these are 240 gold and food apiece. Double the price of standard Hand Cannoneers. My god, did I light you up like a candlestick? Let's see if they're able to do it here. I'd say white phosphorus seems more appropriate because they'll just melt through anything. Gilded Knights to the charge in. Baits him back away from the hand cannoneer line. Re-engages close to his own range line. Just trying to split the difference so that David Kim, aka Puppy Paw, doesn't have everything in the fight. horsemen. But looks like they're quickly dropping. Yeah, this is just raw HP race right now, and it's one that Puppy Paw is not going to win. 225 HP versus 450 on the Gilded Horseman, or 575 on the Gilded Knights. Not to mention the ridiculous amount of armor these guys have. They'll be able to dive in. They clean up the siege, and the pushback continues. Double Mango's going to have to retreat. Remember, last time, Gilded Archers couldn't clear this horseman quick enough, but Gilded Hand Cannoneers will be able to do so. I was going to hang around. Horsemen are going to try to dive in, but the A-click isn't connecting here. Not able to clear any siege. He's going to keep diving, though. Yeah, he's trying to snipe with the ranged units now, which is ambitious. Reminder, despite Puppy Paw's valiant efforts to win these fights here, this castle still stands. This trade post still inaccessible, and Puppy Paw now dirt poor. I don't know how he breaks into this at this rate. I mean, he's rushing the traders through now. The outpost already sees him early. He might be able to touch it, but there's cannons. There's no way. Okay, he might touch it, but he's... Wait, is he really doing this? A cute idea, but you have to stay there. He was trying to put his units in range so the traders could get away, but instead, this is going to be an absolute disaster of a trade line. Oh, man. Not like this. Puppy Paw, he just, sold a lot to get gold? I think that was food. Cool idea, but remember, a one-off. It's not reliable or sustainable. And also, he's losing traders now just trying to get one sliver back. Another keep as well. LuMT is aware. This game likely to be decided by this trade post. Wait, are they even touching? I don't think they're even touching it. Oh my god. Well, at least he stopped producing them. That's good news. The bad news is... LuMT is stripping away the only backup option. Remember, Puppy Paw could have tried to make a break for Louis' trade post instead. Not as ideal on gold income, but you take anything you can get. He's going to pull the workers, though. Looks to block this. Wait. No, wait. Shivs. That's not going to be good enough, the Shivs. No, these guys have 98 HP. That's not going to work. No. And to guarantee it, the worker goes on the wall. Oh, Puppy Paw. He needed someone to stay there and an outpost to go up. Absolute disaster. Now he finds himself with 10 villagers stuck behind enemy lines. Actually make it 15. So he'll start rushing up outposts. Gets the horseman round as well. Reminder, this is still gold, no bueno. The only gold he's getting, actively, rather, it's passively, isn't it, is via the relic and via the sacred site. It's not a lot. Good night. Now we'll just sweep by to clean up. And I just don't know what Puppy Paw is meant to do with this anymore, guys. LuMT got invited to a drain game and he won it. What's up, Polar Opposite? I see you with the sub. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate you. 13 Rams. I mean, it's like the only thing you can afford. At least when it comes to like how you address these keeps. Because he needs all of his gold for hand cannoneers. Hand cannoneers that are starting to let him down a bit, man. Yeah, it's turned into quite the meat grinder. Also, wood becoming a bit problematic. Would you believe it? Is he? Yeah, he's pretty much out, isn't he? Oh, no. Yeah, LuMT has secured like 2/3 of the wood on the map here. Puppy Paw basically in desperation mode because, I mean, these rams expensive in themselves, but even just horsemen. It's a cannon fodder type unit when you throw it into the battle, right? You expect it to die quite a lot, which means you need quite a lot of them to make a dent, i.e. you will run out of wood. Wait, send the rams down the center? Not for the gold? When we knock in at the wall, I think he's aware that there's trade going on. It just mathematically is the only thing that makes sense. Like, how would LuMT, at 54 minutes with only 2 relics, be affording mass knights, mass hand cannoneers as OOTD? So he's just trying to open the path to shut down the trade. Have to see if he's going to be able to be quick enough here. Mango's hand cannoneers are going to wall up him, and bad news, Puppy Paw looks across and goes, where the hell did he get the gold for that? 24 gilded hand cannoneers. That's over 5,000 gold to get that many. He's at least going to be marching towards that trade line now, but we already see reinforcements arriving to intercept. Gilded Knight reaction is also just great. Shuts down the small horseman raids time and time again. Siege is slightly overextended though, so Louis MT, not great positioning. Instead, he just throws the mangoes away to try and shoot out some shots onto the hand cannoneers. Yeah, a great fight for Poppy Paw. Kind of questionable one there for Louis. But it's because he's trying to address everything at once. And no! Wait, did he already start building more traders? He did. He went up to about 10 here. Get cut off! Oh, no. I mean, you still don't even have a trade route here. Leave him something, man. That's unbelievable. Louis MT is just going to be dropping a castle there. And that should just be the fork dropped in the stake. And the salute to say, well done. Yeah. I mean, at this stage, there is nothing left, right? Like, Puppy Paw, he only really has food reserves. You're not really going to be able to rush down landmarks. Your opponent is going up to soon close to 10 mangoes at this rate. It's just too many knights as well. Like, it's not even just the hand cannoneers. The knight count feels like the impossible thing to break. If you can't break that, you can't even start talking about the gunpowder units of Louis MT. Looks for an opening. Horsemen are charging. Gilded Knights have covered most of the gaps. Some are going to slip through into the mangoes, but the hand cannoneer reinforcements are there. We'll be able to protect and we'll be able to wipe and shut him out. On a fine game of Rocky River. One that grinded him down to paste. Can't believe, due to haste originally, Louis MT almost losing this one. An urgency from Poppy Paw, putting him in a position that he never truly recovered from. Cool game, though. Like, you know, these are the perfect kind of ones we love to see uploaded to the channel. Ones where either side could have taken the dub at different points. I think it's becoming undeniable. Like, you're now trying to spam spearmen into hand cannoneers. I wonder if Poppy Paw maybe should have possibly kept an eye on the east side earlier, anticipate the trade post, but what Louis done, the timings he done it around, and the focus around wood as well, like, it's just not your usual play, I want to say. Most people linearly play their side of the map, but it shows you the value Order of the Dragon have when they can afford to just pump out extra villages. It means they're going to risk losing, you know, 10, 15, and not caring due to that Palace of Swabia. Swabification, most definitely strong. As is Louis now on the slow approach. I mean, Puppy Paw, of course, is not going to surrender over straight away. You know, you got 9,000 food in reserve. You spent an hour on this. You might as well go in for one big hoorah bare minimum. Why does this map always go until there's no wood? I think the sacred sites need to be more centralized for a start. So you could potentially wall them off and use them as a win condition. It's too easy to wall, in theory. Like, in theory, you're meant to wall at the neutral points. We don't even have that, though. And this is just Waluigi at work. Here we go, Puppy Paw. Relegated to a third spearman this time. I mean, he just can't touch the mangoes. He's trying for the wide rotation, but every hand needs to be on deck, and every hand is not. It's docking away from your power, your push. That just doesn't exist. Hand cannoneers, a shadow of their former self. And Puppy Paw is going to have to go back to his little kettle and wait for the vet to see him. Because Louis MT is on a roller here. What a crazy game. Let me know if you guys like that one. Pretty cool one. Like I said, it's what we like to see back and forth. Going into the mid-late game, preferably. With an opportunity for both to win. But let me know what you think could have been done differently there. Do you think there was a way that Puppy Paw should have been able to win that more cleanly? Maybe Louis MT could have won it cleaner without that dive. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll catch you in the next chapter.